Welcome to Shares from the American College of Financial Services, where money meets minds. Here's a look at what we'll be sharing with you today.
Most of my clients are first-gen wealthy, first-gen wealth builders, first-gen American, first to go to college in their family, first business owner in their family. And so they have made huge socioeconomic jumps in their personal life. And they struggle with having conversations and making decisions with the people around them.
Welcome. I'm Lindsey Lewis, the Managing Director of the American College Center for Women in Financial Services, and your host for this conversation about representation. As many of you may be aware, we've recently celebrated and observed Hispanic Heritage Month. And as part of this very exciting celebration in financial services, the SEER Latina Summit team has an event that they host as well. This is their second year of the event, and the goal is to help financial professionals connect, learn, and thrive in the Latino group. I'm honored to be joined by two SEER Summit key organizers, N'Jie-Konte, a CFP board ambassador and a founder of her own firm and a financial advocate, and Vanessa Martinez, the CEO and managing partner at Expressive Wealth. Welcome to the podcast, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us.
Yay, we're excited to be here.
Thanks for having us.
We are so thrilled to have you. And Anna and Vanessa, you both have inspiring stories about how you entered financial services. So could you each briefly share what drew you into this field and a little bit about your personal backgrounds that have influenced the way that you approach financial planning for diverse communities?
Financial planning and just the whole concept is new, I think, to just Latinos. You were taught to kind of grow whatever you grow, you eat, right? It's the culture there is more do and then receive. So in my personal life, education was the key driver to everything, mainly because my parents weren't allowed to. Civil wars broke out in their countries, Guatemala and El Salvador. So that prevented them from having that opportunity, which then led to my parents making sure that all three daughters really pursued that, because that was the one thing they said that couldn't be taken away. Whatever you learn can't be taken away. Material things can be taken away, but what is in your brain, what you've learned, is the one thing that can't be. So I think that push on us made me fall in love with learning. And also the culture of serving is just part of my family. So tying both pieces together was one of the things that I fell in love with in learning was the financial pieces. So if I had learned it so well and I knew that education was key and maybe my community doesn't have those opportunities even still today, what can I do to bridge that? Which is just being supportive and, leaning in on helping as much as I can, right? And I believe in educating all. The more we all learn, the better we can all be. So just taking that into account, that was kind of my passion, and my journey has been learning and teaching. You do it daily, right? If you allow yourself. I think the whole statement of you learn a new thing every day, that's for those of us who listen. So let's make sure we turn on those little hearing pieces and let's pay attention and learn. I love that.
Such an important reminder. And especially here at the American College, where we love to celebrate and build applied financial knowledge. And Anna, let's hear about you, about how you entered into financial services.
Yeah, so I grew up in an environment where nobody had investments, nobody had a financial advisor, nobody had money to invest. And so, this whole world of financial advisory, financial planning was so foreign to me. Everybody I knew was very much so struggling financially, and they were just trying to get to a place where they felt stable. And stability was the most that I thought that I could achieve. Beyond, and that, stability was very, I think, basic. What I learned is being able to pay your bills. Maybe if you really make it, buying a house. And that was like the pinnacle to me. And so I, came out of college with a desire to do better financially and to have stability, but I didn't have the tools I needed to be able to build wealth. I get a call from a recruiter one day that says, we have a job at this wealth management firm and we need an assistant for this high level team. We think you'd be a great fit. Would you be interested? I went to the interview and history was made there. I've been in this field since then. And the reason I'm so passionate about this is because I know how transformative that knowledge was for my own personal life. And that's why I'm so passionate about one, having diversity in this industry, which I know we're going to talk about, but then also focusing on educating folks out there. Not everybody is going to be a great wealth management kind of profile client, but regardless of that, these are foundational life skills that we just need to know. And so my, biggest passion is making sure that people have the knowledge they need to be able to live the lives that they want to.
So important. I love my work in financial services because it helps you both personally and professionally, and then you get to share that knowledge with other folks. Both of you are leaders in the financial planning space. And so shifting gears slightly, but were there any unique challenges that you faced as a Latina entering in financial services? And how were you able to turn those challenges into opportunities to better serve your clients and also spread the good word about being a financial professional? We'll start with you, Vanessa.
I think if we reflect on different is an opportunity, right? Instead of a challenge. So in the past, it was a male dominant field, and women, just women period, were the different. And they were shown, they were treated different. Everything was just, they acted different, and they were used in different positions, even still in the financial landscape, but everything was different. I think now we've learned that being different is an opportunity, because it's not just us women or us, black, brown. It's not. It's the world is different. So if we embrace that, then it is an opportunity. So I've used that in the case where, because I was raised a certain way, that means I listen differently as well. So when we're in meetings, I'm capturing pieces that maybe an advisor that hasn't faced those things or doesn't understand can't. So being different for me I've leaned in on that and said, this is why this is better. And I know that's difficult, as easy as I'm making it sound to say, oh, different is great, right? But the truth is, I would say for anyone listening, let's lean in on those qualities that we have and implement solutions based on those differences. So as much as I was faced with, just being just the woman, right? You might not understand as much, but we do, right? So speaking up is part of that piece in your normal voice. Too many times we're told you need to speak like a man, talk like this, act like this, dress like this, right? You have to do all what they say, like they say, but that's not true. Being you is what can bring that closeness to the people sitting across the table, right? So the families that we serve are the choosers, right? They select who they want sitting across from them. So I believe that these skills that we were so fortunate to be raised with because of our culture, that at least I was blessed with a very loving family, empathetic, intelligent. So I have these skills. So now I sit at the table and I embrace that, right? And I make sure I share and I listen. And body language is such a big thing that I think gets so dismissed. I've been in meetings where I can tell, I can see, you can physically see it. I don't know how people can't, but eyes are watering across the table, and you'll talk right through that. Pause is okay, right? Let's pause for a minute they are feeling something that needs to be let out, right? Let's talk through those pieces. That's why I truly embrace the emotional intelligence piece. So let's embrace those differences, is what I say.
Definitely want to embrace those differences. And I love that you brought it back to the human side of it. And each of us are different humans in general, regardless of gender, age, race, sexual orientation. And we all have different lived experiences. And it's such a beautiful way to show up authentically as you are, but also to serve those clients who are different than you. How about you, Anna? How has being a Latina in this space been an opportunity, challenge, etc.? Let's hear from you.
Yeah, I mean, I think there definitely were challenges. I'd be lying if I didn't say it's not hard, especially as a younger person, to be the only person of color, the only person with a similar background to you in a space that is, I think, very elite and very it's a unique bubble that most wealth managers or most financial advisors operate in. So for me, coming from a family where we struggled financially, and also being visibly very different from everybody else, that was a challenge. The thing, like Vanessa shared, though, there were a couple of things that I think really helped me. And I always view my heritage and where I come from as a strength, and it's something to be incredibly proud of. I was always taught that growing up. And so I didn't feel ashamed necessarily, but I felt as though, you know, I was somehow behind because of maybe my economic background. But I would say the way that it was a strength for me, there's really two things. One, I do think that my superpower is I don't come from money, but I understand these complex topics. And so I can explain things to people in a very clear, cohesive, concise way that they understand, break it down to them, and not be talking down to them at the same time, because I don't take that level of knowledge for granted, because I didn't have. Fast forward 15 years, I had no idea what any of the things I talk about on a daily basis were. Um, and I will say, lastly, I think Latinos have, and Latino culture is so beautiful. And some of the things that have helped me in my career that come from that upbringing are, one, just the value of hard work. Uh, I will get things done. I was always, everybody around me modeled hard work and diligence and being really thoughtful and intentional about what they do. Um, Being empathetic and kind and honest was also a value that was really instilled in me from an early age. And then lastly, I would say that human intelligence, and just once again, understanding people's emotions and not being ashamed of emotion. I think one aspect of Latino culture is, like, we will express the whole full spectrum of emotion, and it is not judged or stigmatized in any way, shape, or form. And so I'm able to show up with clients and be present with them in a way that I don't know that other advisors do, if they don't even give themselves permission to have those feelings and to really sit with them.
So absolutely beautiful. And Vanessa's firm is called Expressive Wealth, right? The whole spectrum of emotions. I absolutely love that. One thing that really stood out to me when you were speaking, Anna, was about being the only in a room. And the American College has the Conference of African American Financial Professionals, is where Anna and I met in person for the first time. And it was really important for me to go to that event. Being a white woman, I was able to experience what the lived experience of being the only in that space was. And it was so eye-opening and great to learn more about what it feels like to enter a room where you're the minority within that space. And that was kind of the inception, or part of the catalyst of the SARE Latina Summit after that. And so you're geared up for your second SARE event. And I have seen on social media the familia boxes, right? You're sending out the swag in advance, and how important it is to not be the only. And really would love for you, Anna, to kick us off. Tell us about the event and the significance of bringing the community together, specifically for the Latino Hispanic population.
This is the second year that we're doing this. And like you shared, Linz, I was really heartened by going to that CAFP after so many years in this industry. That was the first time I was in a room where most of the advisors were Black, and these were people that were in my profession that looked like me. It was a really affirming thing. And all I kept thinking about was there should be more spaces like this, and they should include more communities. And as a Latina myself, I was thinking there needs to be a space like this. One, to, show junior people that there's a career path, that there's a viable path for them in this industry, that there are other Latinos that are really successful in this industry, and to give them a roadmap. I always tell folks, it's harder to be something or achieve something or envision something, make a plan for something, if you don't know that it's a possibility for you. And so I think this event has the very important camaraderie feature in terms of gathering us together. We're all over the country as advisors, like the participants, even the organizing folks, were all over the country. And it can be very isolating regardless of what type of business you're in. And so this has the camaraderie feature. It has the modeling feature. It has the let's talk about the best ways that we can serve the Latino community, which is a huge portion of our national population and is going to be an ever increasing part of the population. And Latinos, or folks that want to work with the Latino community, need to understand how we can serve that community and build businesses and build careers in it, and what are the things that they really need from us. And I can't think of a group besides a bunch of Latinos that's better poised to actually come together and talk about that and build the services and the firms and the careers that are going to help facilitate that.
Earning the CFP mark shows you're serious about advancing your career and serving your clients' best interests. Yet with nearly 400 CFP board-registered education providers, how do you decide which is best for you? At the American College of Financial Services, we've been preparing students to sit for the CFP exam for nearly 40 years and have been educating financial services professionals for almost 100 years. Our CFP Certification Education Program prepares you for the CFP exam with a cutting-edge e-learning platform, digital class materials, and discussion spaces, all included with tuition. You'll get practical planning skills to grow your value to clients starting on day one. And as an accredited higher education institution, we accept transfer credit from other accredited institutions, which can save you time and money on your way to earn the CFP mark. Learn more at theamericancollege.edu/CFP and expand your opportunities today.
Vanessa, tell us about you playing a role within the SARE event.
I think Anna explained it well. It's finding that community, right? To embrace your own wellness, right? Even just psychological wellness. What do? If we think about it today, right? If I'm feeling down, if things are happening, I've texted Anna and been like, ugh, this is happening. What do I do, right? And I know I have that community because I found that community instead. So I've developed friendships that are real, that really care, and that really look to support one another. Hence, SER, S-E-R, stands for support, educate, and recharge, right? These three pieces are what build this community, this space that fosters that sense of belonging, because that's what we all want. And in the Latino culture, as Ana stated, if there's not a lot of us, then how do you know who to call? Or who do you call, right? It's not, sorry, that sounded like a promotion for Ghostbusters. Who do you call, right? You call Sid. So that is exactly what we're building. We're building a place that you're feeling down, you're feeling like you don't know what to do, or you have a family that you're trying to support and you need help. Sometimes it's hard when you're in an office filled with all people that don't think like you, don't talk like you, don't look like you. But now we've built this community that you'll have now hundreds of people that you can call. Just make those connections. And what we're trying to do this year and 2025 said, which will be in Chicago, we're really pushing on let's help you build community. Because even though we're all in the room, us Latinos really don't need, because most of us are pretty loud, but we're still doing activities where we're being helpful in building that community, right? As much of us that are extroverts, there's introverts. So how do we combine those pieces? So we're doing a lot of those types of activities, which I'm super excited for, to help support in that. That's what we are. This is a community, right? And I've said it a million times. It's not just your normal conference where you go and sit and just like listen to the speakers and learn and take notes. You're not just taking notes. You're taking relationships out of this.
And we're making guacamole.
Sign me up. I absolutely appreciate the intentionality, right? Support, educate, recharge. So important to recharge, especially when you frequently are being tapped on the shoulder because you are different to participate in a variety of different things, whether it's a video or a podcast or this education event or what have you, or you're the only Spanish speaker within your office. And so you're getting tapped to, help with a community event. So I think it's so important to recharge, and what a beautiful way to recharge altogether. One thing that I love about the education tracks that you have this year, you have different education tracks for where professionals might be at, right? We might be a little bit more seasoned in our business, or we might be up and coming. And the element that I love was this educate side and promoting financial literacy. And so, Anna, you've talked about how you integrate financial literacy and financial wellness into your planning to help clients make better informed decisions, especially on complex topics like estate planning and investing. So maybe walk us through how you've integrated, some of the elements of education within your day-to-day with your clients that you've learned from either SARE or just being in financial services.
Yeah. So, I always tell all clients that I never want them to walk around and say, I have this investment because my advisor said so, and not be able to explain why it's a good decision for them. So regardless of what the decision is, regardless of the impacts of it, I want to spend time explaining and educating my clients so that they can feel really comfortable and make a choice and not just have me telling them what to do. So that's kind of woven into any recommendations that I make is, here's what I think you should do, or here are two options you could choose. And here's the pros and cons of both of those. What do you think makes the most sense for you? And here's kind of the knock-on effects. I always frame recommendations from that standpoint. In terms of an ongoing engagement and education, I think there's so much power in community. And I think there's so much power in coming together with other people that are like you. And we were just talking about it from SARE, but even from a client standpoint, I like to get my clients together as much as I can because it's a way for them. Oftentimes they're the only person in their personal life that has the level of wealth that they do. Most of my clients, I didn't share this earlier, but most of my clients are first-gen wealthy, first-gen wealth builders, first-gen American, first to go to college in their family, first business owner in their family. And so they have made huge socioeconomic jumps in their personal life. And they struggle with having conversations and making decisions with the people around them. And so it's really helpful and I think nutritive to them to be able to be in a space with other people with a similar socioeconomic background or a similar profession, so on and so forth, with them. And so I actually facilitate monthly calls, either that I produce, or I'll tap into my network and have other subject matter experts come and talk about a specific topic, but also it's just an open format and we can just jump on a Zoom and ask questions about taxes or philanthropic giving or, business growth strategies, because a lot of my clients are entrepreneurs. So that's a huge feature that's woven into my service that I do with my clients.
I love that it's centered around helping your clients feel educated, and they bear a new weight upon them when they have more access to capital and they might have more opportunities than they've known about in the past. One thing I will mention that the college is also supplementing is the Know Yourself, Grow Your Wealth program, and it's releasing in Spanish versions, and that is complimentary to all listeners. So definitely sign up for Know Yourself, Grow Your Wealth. And recently, I actually had Vanessa and Anna on a webcast where we talked about closing the gender and racial wealth gaps. And Vanessa, I would love for you to share about how Clients who might be in the Hispanic Latino communities, why they might be hesitant to engage with financial professionals. And is it due to a lack of knowledge or trust or, implementing their own strategies? So what have you found that's helpful to build those relationships and make sure that they are impactful?
I think the hesitance comes from the lack of knowledge, right? And knowledge in the sense of more so experience, right? So if we haven't experienced it, like Anna saying that her clients are first gen, right? So everything that they're experiencing, it's the first time they experience it. And there will be some hesitance. You have hesitance across, everything we do in life, right? I don't want to learn that. I'm not ready for that, right? So where I lean in on that side is what is happening today that you need a solution for, right? So we take it one piece at a time. As much as I want to teach them absolutely everything I know, because it just feels so good to teach, I would say it's saying, okay, Lindsey, you're buying a house. Let's dig into that. Like, not just that you want hardwood floors and you want these kind of windows. Let's understand what interest rates means. And where do they come from? And when is a good time? When is not? When is this? So if you're interested in doing something, you're going to want to understand it. Now, that might not mean, okay, let's go straight into the stock market and let me explain all these pieces. Then you're not ready, right? So you have to lean in on what they're ready to embrace and actually learn. So if it's buying a house, if it's getting a promotion at work, let's talk about benefits. Let's talk about stock plans. What do those mean? And guess what? You're going to listen because it's happening to you. So if we lean in on the need, and we're able to solve that need, that's where trust is built. Now I trust that you were able to help me solve this problem or, supplement this need. So now let's move on to the next thing. And they will experience things. And once they start learning that role that we play of educator throughout that series, then they'll be more willing to learn about things that might not be happening to them, but that, let's say, Anna and I have experienced with other clients that we feel is a good thing for them to learn now to be prepared. Because we want to be proactive, not just reactive to the families that we're working with. But you have to start somewhere. And that's the whole meet them where they are, is that let's be reactive today. But what are we putting in plan to be proactive for next time?
Intentionality, once again, of being proactive, thinking ahead. We are wrapping up on our time, and as we, celebrate and appreciate Hispanic Heritage Month, what is your final advice do you have for these listeners to help enhance the financial journeys of their clients, especially those who feel like they're starting behind due to some systemic inequalities, right? Latino women make anywhere between 42 cents to a white man's dollar. Like the statistics are illustrating this. So real fast, what final advice do you have to listeners to help enhance their clients' financial journeys? We'll start with you, Anna.
I would say don't make assumptions about their level of knowledge. And I think always help training them on long-term thinking and how they can not get caught up on being behind, but really think about what's the path to get caught up or get to a place that feels really good. That's one. The second I would say is, just have that empathy and, don't make judgments. I mean, we're human beings. We all make judgments, but try not to make judgments about level of knowledge or some behaviors that you may be seeing, because you might not realize that those are cultural norms, that those are things that they are used to doing. And it may seem foreign to you if you're not from our community, or it may seem nonsensical. But like Vanessa shared, those are things that I see and I recognize immediately. Like, okay, I know what's going on here. And you might not necessarily have that perspective. And so I think just being really mindful with any client of your lack of perspective or understanding of why they're doing certain things, and just maintain curiosity rather than judgment.
Being curious. How about you, Vanessa?
As I was listening to Anna, my first thought was read. And then I realized, okay, reading can get you so far. So I think it's more read, write, and talk. So read about things that have happened, right, in our past and are happening daily. Write about it, because I think when we write things down, it's a different perspective, and then talk about it. Because some people haven't heard of these things. There's so much, especially like, we're passing Hispanic Heritage Month. We should continue this reading forever, because then we learn about, there are so many Latinos that we still haven't talked about, but that is our rich culture, right? And how we're stepping into those shoes and still making the walk forward. But to do that, we need to read, write, and talk about it.
Read, write, talk, support, educate, recharge. Such great little nuggets for our listeners. Anna and Vanessa, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and experience with us. It has been such a delight and a wonderful conversation as always. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
That's all for now, but you can find all our episodes on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and most other streaming services. Be sure to like us, follow us, and leave us a rating and review. Shares is a production of the American College of Financial Services, and we hope you join us next time as we share ideas that expand your opportunities.